And see why. She speaks at conferences, schools, businesses, and universities, and she once spoke at the Toronto Stock Exchange when she was 10. Amanda was honored last year with as one of Canada's top 20 under 20. Very cool. Please give it up for Amanda.
Raise your hand if you think you can change the world. Okay, raise your hand if you think you can change your community. Okay, raise your hand if you think you can change your life. There we go. As you heard, I'm Amanda and I'm 16 years old. Ever since I was 2 years old, I've had a lemonade stand on the front lawn to raise money for pediatric cardiac research, initially through Heart and Stroke Foundation, and now through Save a Child's Heart and Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto additionally. That's me when I was 2 years old. So far, I've raised over $193,000 to fix kids' hearts that are broken. But that's just a number, and numbers have to come from somewhere. That seemingly big number started with one. One is the first glass of lemonade I ever sold. One is the first dollar I ever donated to charity, and one is you. The amount of people it takes to change the world. Now, despite what some of you might be thinking, I'm a regular teenager. I'm in grade 11. I encounter the same daily annoying problems as you do. In fact, all of last week, my house didn't even have any internet. So I had to live without that for an entire week, and you can imagine how difficult that was because it was very, very hard. Also, since I was born, I guess, I've been going on the Heart and Stroke Ride for Heart, which is an annual big bike ride in Toronto, where I'm from, on the highway to raise money for the Heart and Stroke Foundation. I decided around 2 years ago that instead of doing the 25-kilometer bike ride that I usually do every year, I would do the 50-kilometer ride, because why not? I am not an athletic person in any capacity whatsoever, but I figured I might as well try it. Long story short, this is a great picture of me riding on the highway with a caravan of police cars and ambulances and everything behind me, because I was the last rider out of 50,000 riders to cross the finish line. So they were all following me, waiting for my back tire to cross the finish line so that they could open up the highway again. Now, believe it or not, I tried this again the next year, and I distinctly remember there being some riders behind me, so I know I wasn't last again. But do you know what I learned from that experience? That trying something new, no matter what it is always a win-win situation, no matter what. Every new idea is a win. Every new idea contributes something to the world, even if that is figuring out what doesn't actually work. And I think that's why my lemonade stand happened when I was so little, when I was 2 years old, because at that age, failure simply wasn't an option. Because I hadn't grasped that concept yet. I didn't understand that sitting on the front lawn with a wooden table, Dixie cups, a Fisher-Price pitcher of lemonade, I didn't understand that I could potentially fail. But luckily, we were very successful that year, and I ended up raising $500. But that idea of an idea not working gets instilled with us as we grow up, and it consumes us, and I believe that that's what stops us from trying to make a difference in the world. All of you have the ability to make a difference in the world. All of you have that ability, and I know you do. So, one of my best friends told me that high school is a time to learn. High school is a time to learn about what you love, about your abilities, about what you care about, not necessarily about math or science or history or anything. As long as we figure out what we want those experiences to be. I was very lucky at a young age to have an experience that will forever tell me what I love and why I love doing it. When I was around 6 years old, again, a man came up to me on the Heart and Stroke Ride for Heart and asked me if I was Amanda Belzowski, and I said yes, and he said, "I just had a heart attack. Thank you for doing what you're doing, because if you didn't do it, I wouldn't be here." Those words have stuck with me every single day since. And those are pretty heavy words to place on a 6-year-old. But I have an 8-year-old brother, Joshua, and you've probably all met him. He's an absolute powerhouse at making a difference in the world, and he's a really good business card hander-outer. You've probably all received a business card. I passed on my lemonade stand to him when he was around 2 years old, and he's taken on that task with such passion that it intimidates me sometimes. I mean, he is the CEO of Amanda's Lemonade Stand, and he's so good at what he does. Hi, buddy. He's also a great little public speaker, and while my mom says he gets it from me, I think she's touching on more of an important point, which is being a mentor. And that sounds like a little bit of a weird word, right? Teenagers can't be mentors. But what if I use a different word? What if I use the word leader? Now, I know you're all leaders because if you weren't, you simply wouldn't be here. You are leaders in your communities, you are leaders in your schools, and you are leaders of our generation. Now, that might seem like a pretty big responsibility. I'm not going to lie, it is. But if we can all be leaders in any capacity, in our homes, in our schools, in our businesses, in our homes, in our schools, in our communities, I know that we can make a difference if, like Joshua says, you put your heart into it. Because you're never too little, and no idea is ever too little to make a big difference in the world. So, as people who are a lot better at math than me once told me, which is the majority of the population, by the way, as they once told me, apparently, if you as one person, affect two people, if you do something for two people, and they do something for two people, and they do something for two people, and on and on and on, the number of people affected doubles exponentially. And here's the really cool part. If this continues for 33 days, only 33 days, the number of people that will have been affected, wait for it, is 8 billion. 8 billion people. That is more people than we have on the planet right now. 8 billion people. If one person only has to affect two people, imagine what everyone in this room could do. And this affecting doesn't have to be big. It's the little things every day that matter and make the difference. Holding a door open for someone doesn't really make a difference. Well, what if holding that door is the difference between them dropping all their papers and being late for work? Giving a dime to a homeless person isn't going to make any difference. What if that dime is the last 10 cents that person needs in order to get a cup of coffee on a really cold day? Helping your friend with homework doesn't matter. What if that homework is the difference between them passing and failing the next test? You don't know. They could become the next Bill Gates or, to kind of jump the gun, Donald Trump for that matter. You never know. It's these little things every day that add up and make a big difference. All of you need to inspire one person. If you inspire your mother, and you inspire your teacher, and you inspire the crossing guard at your community center, no matter what you're inspiring them to do, you are making a difference in their life. Plant that seed of inspiration inside someone you know. Plant that seed. Be that mentor to someone. Be that leader. And watch that seed grow. But watching that seed grow doesn't seem like it's enough anymore. You have to watch the seed grow, but then you have to help it grow into a tree. Sure, I can plant a seed of inspiration inside someone, but without water and sunlight and stimulation, it's not going to grow. So you have to help it. A couple years ago, I created a course called the Nothing's Impossible course, and I took in a bunch of kids and I taught them the hands-on ways of making a difference in the world. And obviously, I'd like to do that course over and over and over again as many times as I can. I love to do that. But I am only one person. But there are 101 of us in this room. 100 of you and 1 of me. I'm slightly outnumbered here. But we're 101 people together. So imagine what we can do. Gathering a group of 101 like-minded, eager individuals with a passion for learning and doing is exactly what society needs. Society needs us. And I think that what the story of the man on the ride really teaches me is what I love doing and why I love doing it. It also teaches me the extreme sense of self-gratification you get from making a difference in the world. Obviously, we don't do good things to get good things back, but I believe that if you channel that feeling that you get when you help someone else, if you channel that, it will set you on a lifelong path for making a difference in the world. That's what will guide you, because that feeling is unlike anything that you can get anywhere else. So the man on the ride story teaches me what I love, why I love doing it. And I think all of you need to find that thing that you love, and it can come from anywhere. You have to plant that seed. But how do we actually go about doing that? Well, I also set up something called the Nothing's Impossible Challenge, which had a bunch of different categories in it that encourage people to come out and in their communities and do small acts every day that would make a difference. And those are just a springboard, because how we plant that seed is we need one idea. One idea. You only need one idea. Your idea plus yours and everyone's and mine equals 101. 101 ideas. 101 ideas for passing it forward. Now, I don't know how many of you have heard of the SMART goal setting system, but just in case you haven't, it's a way to set goals for yourself and make sure that you carry out those goals. So S is for specific, M measurable, A attainable, R relevant, T time bound, etc. If we plant that seed, if we use the SMART initiative, and if we plant that seed, we can create 101 ideas. And in keeping with the time bound, I challenge all of us to come up with 101 ideas collectively in 101 days. 101 days from now is June 2nd. By June 2nd, I want all of us to come up with our one idea and carry it out and do it and bring someone else into that idea with us. But not only bring them in, you have to help them create their own idea so they can pass it on and on and on. And that's exponential difference making. So how do we do that? How many of you have Facebook? Okay, so what if I told you that I created a Facebook group, a community, a page where we could come together and we could share our ideas. We could each share our one idea to make 101. And we can get feedback and we can open the conversation. Would that be of interest to anyone? Yeah, okay, cool. So I call it Smart Ideas for Passing It Forward. So I want all of you, you don't have to go home. In our next break, you can take out your devices and you can go like the page and we can start the conversation of giving back to the world. We can start being mentors to the world, guys. We can be mentors to everybody. We have to come up with our idea that will bring someone else in and help them carry out their idea. We have to do the idea. Relating back to my challenge had 6 different categories: conserving, volunteering, helping, fundraising, learning and sharing, and random acts of kindness. And obviously, I focused on the fundraising component for most of my life, but that doesn't mean I don't do a little bit of everything else. I like to explain it by using the food groups. We all know that we need to eat a little bit of every food group to be healthy, just like we need to do a little bit of every kind of making a difference. If you only do one kind of making a difference, you're going to get sick of it. And if you eat only one food group, you're going to get sick. It's the same sort of idea. You guys want an example? So here's my one idea to contribute to our 101. I don't typically involve, for some reason, my school in my whole lemon stalk initiative. It's sometimes really hard for me to reach out to the people closest to me and the people I interact with on an everyday basis. So for my one idea, I've decided that I'm going to try to inspire more than one person. I'm going to try to inspire my school. I'm going to try to hold a school assembly, which is very much outside my comfort zone, believe it or not. I'm going to try to hold a school assembly, teach them about what I do, why I do it, and hopefully involve them in our 101 in our community. Obviously, you do not have to go out and hold a school assembly. If you have the resources and if you want to, by all means, go out and hold that school assembly. Share it on the Facebook page so we can help you and tell us how it went and everything. And I'm sure everyone will love to hear about it. But you don't need to do that. You only need one idea. And you only need to affect and change and help one person. One person, that's all. I promise you that in keeping with the SMART theme of setting your goal, if you affect one person, you're going to change their life, and your life is going to change. So I'll ask you one more time. Are you going to change your life?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you going to change your community?
Yes.
Are you going to change the world?
Yeah.
Because I know you can, and I know that you will. Thank you.